Hello, hello. How is everybody? I hope everyone is really, really well and everyone's having a beautiful Wednesday. Here in Australia, it's Wednesday, of course, and New Zealand, where most of my beautiful people that support me and love me are from. I'm just checking my Facebook page to check that I've gone live in here. Let's see. Make sure it's all working properly. Let's have a look. Bear with me a second. Yes, it is beautiful. Lovely. Okay, so let's get back to it. Thank you so much for joining me today. I really, really hope that you get something from my Money Wave course. And the reason I put this together is because when I first started with Magic, is I had a lot of money blocks that I didn't even realize that I had. And the most important thing for me, my first part of this learning process was actually learning how to deal with my money, my own personal money concerns. You know, when I was originally investing in this, I was questioning it. And then I had to learn, why do I question that? So what I've done is I have done a lot of research in the last, Drew and I in the last sort of 5 or 6, maybe 6 years now. And we've put together some really interesting information and found some really, really helpful tips and tricks that have helped us. And what I wanted to do is put a little bit of that together as a beginner package for anyone out there that feels like they have some money blocks. So that's why I've put together the Money Wave, and I will get started because I don't want to take up everyone's time, and I'm really excited about this. So let's get on with it. So welcome to the Money Wave. Why did I call this class the Money Wave? Or why did I call this masterclass the Money Wave? Like the ocean that keeps producing waves that flow into our shores, we have money that continues to flow as well. Money flows in and money flows out. So don't forget that. So the first thing that I think is really, really important today is I want everybody to clear their mind. I want everyone to come to this place, whether you're watching it live or whether you watch it as a repeat. Put a hashtag replay so I know that you've watched it, or if you're watching it live, say hi. But what I want to do first is I want everyone to just close their eyes for a moment, and I want you to take a deep breath, a soothing breath in, and letting all that tension out in your body, gently releasing it on the out breath. As you exhale, imagine all your worries and distractions melting away, leaving you in a state of calm serenity. Visualize a peaceful, tranquil place, a serene forest, a quiet beach, a serene meadow. Feel the soft breeze, hear the gentle rustling of the leaves, and sense that soothing warmth of the sun. With each breath, imagine a wave of tranquility washing over you, clearing your mind and opening it to receive knowledge and wisdom. Allow this moment to be a sanctuary of your thoughts, a space of clarity and receptivity. Now when you open your eyes, you'll be refreshed, focused, and ready to absorb information with a clear and open mind. So why did I start this business? It was to keep myself on a path of being healthy and create wealth and health. Recently, I've extended the biz into Design Your Retirement Life, and this has kicked me into a whole new level of excitement. You see, I found what I really want to do. I help women aged 45 to 60 who are navigating the transition from full-time parenting to rediscovering their own path. They're questioning if there's more to life after dedicating years to raising their children, yet uncertainty and exhaustion can sort of stand in the way. Many are also contending with the challenges of perimenopause or menopause, adding to an extra layer of complexity for this part of their journey. Financial concerns about sustaining their desired lifestyle post-retirement start to creep in and weigh on our mind a bit. Through my own experience and extensive research, I offer a clear roadmap to fulfillment in your retirement. I identify a sustainable online approach that I'm currently implementing, and I am committed to providing transparent guidance every step of the way. I'm passionate about empowering women in the age group, providing them with realistic goals and supportive community that can foster growth without judgment. So my name is Fiona Hunt, and as I said, I run two businesses, one called Health and Wealth with Fee and the other one called Design Your Retirement Life. And they both sort of really run into each other, which is great. You see, to retire at any age, people need to understand money. And understanding how Gen Xers, and I'm talking to the Gen Xers, but there's other people too that get a little bit lost with their money as well. Even my children who are millennials and younger are influenced by myself. I was influenced by my parents, my teachers, my carers, and so on and so forth. We are now teaching our children, or may have already, and are we teaching them to be positive when it comes to the aspect of money? Myths about money. How many of you have heard people say money is evil? So money is actually a piece of paper with printed ink on it. Yeah? It's like this. It's like anything that you get. It's actually just a piece of paper. Or it's a coin or a computer program. Have you ever known a piece of paper to be evil, apart from you get the paper cuts? Yes, that sounds ridiculous, but it's true. Money is just a piece of paper. So what makes that statement feel so true? It's how we see people use money. It's how we see money being used. It's how the media wants us to see money being used that makes it feel bad and makes us fear money. Money doesn't grow on trees. Well, I'm sure we've all heard that one. That's because usually it's something that we want. The person who we want that to give us to is not able to give it to us. So we might go, when we were younger, oh, I'd really like a bike. And they go, what do you think? Money grows on trees? So that person is saying that because they maybe heard it from their parents. It's something that's been passed down as a way and an excuse for not owning the fact that you don't have the money at that time. By saying money doesn't grow on trees, it gives the person a way out. They don't have to explain why they can't get the item. It comes from a place of scarcity. They don't want to explain why they don't have the money. Do you think I'm made of money? It's another good one, isn't it? Well, obviously not. You want paper? Yes, I'm kidding. I'm being silly again. But why do we respond like this? It's because we have a block with the money and feel trapped by how much we don't have. We don't want people to know about our financial situation. We just want to be left alone and not have to discuss it. So these crazy sayings have been designed to distract us from what is really going on. We are feeling a lack of money. In this course, we are going to find ways to start to use different language around money that will allow us to teach our children and our friends that money isn't something to be scared about, feared, or laughed at. We're going to find ways to heal our minds around money and to start on the road of creating health and wealth in a financial sense. Understanding your money mindset. Let's take a look at where your current money mindset might be. Now, I'm not saying this is for everybody. I'm just saying it might be for some. For most of us, when we interact with money, we have some level of feeling. And that feeling can be anger, fear, guilt, resentment, and anxiety. So where does that feeling actually come from? We are programmed without consciously knowing about it. And that's the key. 99.99999% of us have some sort of negative programming around money. We aren't born with those beliefs. We learned them from others that surrounded us. Maybe our mum and dad, carers, teachers, school, grandparents, social media, other people that we interact with. Stuff that you heard growing up. Mum and dad divorcing over money. Who do you think I am? Your personal bank account. I shouldn't have bought that. You really don't have the money. Let's go on holiday. I'll just put it on credit card and we'll pay it off later. That's not for us. Only rich people get that. Rich people are horrible. They get rich because they take advantage of others. You see, when we are really, really young, and I know a lot of you already know this, between the age of 1 and 7, we hear and absorb absolutely everything, even if at the time we don't understand what it is, but it goes in. So when we look at why we are feeling a certain way about money and think, how the heck did that get there? Well, it may have been a long time ago that our beliefs about money were imprinted into our minds. These generational beliefs get passed down to you, creating your financial mindset today. We may not be conscious to it, but how we react with money is where we have been taught. And if we saw the unhappiness that came from that, we didn't learn very useful things about money or how to use it. So let's start exploring why we feel like this, the unconscious mind and its conflicts. And the reason that I want to talk about this so much, and it gets a little bit sciencey, is just because if we start to understand where our fears or our inhibitions come from, then we can work out ways that we can control those thoughts before they come to fruition. We need to look into our mind and understand why. The conscious mind and the unconscious mind conflicts when it's fed certain information. A conscious mind wants more money, and that's fine, but the unconscious mind has a conflicting effect. We believe because we have heard and interpreted money to cause us to think, it can't happen to me. I'm not going to be a nice person if I've got money. It will make me greedy. I will lose it all. I'll never get ahead. So money becomes a threat. So when we have to deal with money in any form, saving, spending, planning, purchasing, we feel some sort of level of fear, anxiety, anger, resentment, or guilt. How does the mind work? How does this picture above make you feel? Have a look at the picture for a minute. Have a look at what it is. As humans, our brains were designed to be quite primitive, yet we are highly intelligent. Like, we're the most intelligent on the planet. The problem is the world we live in doesn't always need to live in a state of fight or flight. We just don't need to live like that all the time anymore. Not like the zebra. Yeah. So we've got the sympathetic nervous system and the parasympathetic nervous system. So the sympathetic nervous system causes us to breathe rapidly, take increased oxygen into our muscles, setting us up to react in fight mode or flight mode, just like the zebra. The parasympathetic nervous system is designed to digest, reproduce new cells, relax our body, relax our mind, help with healing, and so on and so forth. So they're very, very different. When we activate the sympathetic and the parasympathetic then reduces massively because we're ready to fight and flight. This works so well when we are in a dangerous situation. The primitive side kicks in. But in the modern day life, we generally don't need to live in a state of fight or flight. For many of us, it only happens on rare occasions. So modern day life, it's not that beneficial. So let's go back to the question. I asked you, how do you feel when you see the photo of the lion and a zebra? Most people would say the lion put the fear into the zebra. But actually, and I want you to listen to this, I just want you to hear this for a sec. It was the mind of the zebra that processed the data about the lion and started to run. The lion is hungry. It sees the food, it chases it. The zebra is the one who controls the reaction of how it is feeling. And that's when its nervous system, so its sympathetic nervous system, jumps into action and goes into that fight or flight mode. Once the lion has chased the zebra and then the zebra stops, the zebra immediately turns off the sympathetic nervous system and goes back to eating grass. Can you see? Immediately. We as humans can hold onto memories that cause us to activate this, the sympathetic nervous system, without necessarily needing it. If it were up to the lion, he would love the zebra to live in the world of the parasympathetic state, because then he wouldn't have to chase the zebra. He'd just be able to go, I'm hungry. Oh, cool, there's a zebra. Let's eat it. And the zebra would never be alerted to it and just be the meat on the table. But that doesn't happen. We've been given brains because we need to be reactive to certain situations. So I hope this is sort of making sense to you, where I'm going with it. The clever part is the sympathetic nervous system can turn itself on when it's really not necessary and stay on for a long time. So it's not your finances, it's your mind and how it perceives the money threat from past experiences. Remember what you've been told about money, what you have seen and what you've heard others say about money. Our brain doesn't forget it. It tucks away all those memories so well and brings them flying forward when we perceive ourselves to be in a similar situation. So how do we start to deal with how we feel about money? We have to start to train ourselves in the fact that the past doesn't exist. And that sounds very weird when you first say that, because of course the past exists. Like, we all know about past events and past things like that. But what we're trying to do is to say to our brain and re-educate our brain that those old myths that we've heard, that money is evil, money doesn't grow on trees, they don't exist. That's what we're trying to do. So we're trying to just work on our subconscious mind and the way that we react to money. Our unconscious mind causes an action to do something that no longer exists. Consciously, we know we have money. We know we can get money and we know we can attract it. But unconsciously, emotionally, we are experiencing a glitch that wasn't fully processed by the unconscious. So we act like we don't have the means to get money, that money is evil, and all of the other things that we've been taught. Is any of this sitting with you? I do hope it is, because it's really, really clever once you start getting into the idea of understanding where those fears about money actually come from. Now we understand that we have some blocks towards money. Flawed thinking, we all do this too. This is another thing. Just a little bit more on what other thoughts we might have in our head. If only I was smarter and got a uni degree, went to medical school and became a doctor, I'd be really wealthy. If only I hadn't spent the money on a road trip, then I wouldn't be in debt. If only I had rich parents. If only I got a better education from my parents. If only, if only, if only. We can all go on and the blame game and say, if only this had happened. What happened in the past no longer exists. So we're going to clear all of that stuff. We're going to start the process today about how we can clear all of that negativity that goes on within our heads about money, and we're going to start to clear it. What is being projected into the future never existed. We are living in the present. We are living right now. We can't predict what's going to go on here. We can't stop what happened there, but we can retrain our brain for it because it's the past. It's what happened last time. But at this particular time, in this moment, with you sitting here, right here with me, we can start to take small steps to take control of how we think about things. So we're going to simply start clearing our brain, communicating to our unconscious mind that nothing needs to be done in a language that your body understands. And we're going to do that together. You have to take a look, and this is probably one of the hardest things when you're first starting out. You have to take a look at your current money situation and really begin to understand it. This means really taking an honest look at where you are and learning to not hold any guilt, anger, fear, anxiety around it. Think of this as a really, really powerful moment, empowering you, knowing and understanding exactly where you are, and be proud of really looking into this. The old saying, the buck stops here, couldn't be more appropriate. So we're going to set up a little to-do list. And this is something that Drew and I have both done, and something that I've read lots of books about, and I've heard lots of seminars about. And once you start stepping into acknowledging where you are financially, your mind shift is immense. So for us in Australia, we get things like super. I'm not sure what you get over in the States, but like your savings account. If it's not your superannuation, your savings, I want you to look at it. I want you to look at your bank account. I want you to look at that daily. I want you to start actually really acknowledging what is flowing in and what is flowing out. I want you to start noticing what you're spending money on, and not in a tell-off way. Spend your money, but just take note of it. Note what you're spending your money on. Because again, what this is doing is it's going to start training our brain to think differently about what we're doing. You have to learn to look at this without the guilt. The more you look and the more familiar you become with it, you will lessen the fight or flight mode. That fear will become less, because you, by looking at it daily, will feel more in control of it. And I know this is a big process, and I know that there's going to be some anxiety around doing it, because I was the same. But this is really, really key to you getting to understand how your money blocks were in the past and how we're going to get rid of them today. And so then in the future, you are going to have a flow of money coming in and a flow of money coming out, and you are going to be okay with that. As I said before, this can be a challenge, and I completely understand that. I want to give you an example here, because this is how I was before I started doing money mindset work. I'd look into my bank account towards the end of the month, and I'd go, oh my goodness, with 10 days to go, I've only got about $200 left. And I really wanted to go out on Saturday night. So already the frustration and the guilt and the fear started to creep in. I can hear Dad saying, well, I told you money doesn't grow on trees. And I'd think, I know that. And I'd sit down and stew about it. I didn't like how it made me feel. I didn't like the guilt that I had around it, but I didn't want my friends to know that I didn't have money, that I couldn't go out with them. So the choice that I made often was, I'll just have baked beans for the next 10 days and I'll still go out with my friends and everything will look as if it's okay. But the thing was, is this wasn't helping me in any way. This was I was making excuses for myself and not owning where I was currently at. And it made me feel that I was okay with that. But deep down, all of that fear, that anxiety, that why doesn't it happen to me? Why don't I have more money? Why didn't I get a better education? All those things floated around in the back of my head. And it had to change. It had to change, because otherwise I was never going to get a different wage. I was never going to look into the future. I just sat in the blame game, and the blame was really on me. And that's the hardest thing to look at, is the acceptance of I needed to make a change. And so a very, very good friend of mine reached out to me. And before I tell you that, I just want to make sure you've all read this slide here. Remember, you are choosing to listen to this course and to really understand to love money again. And you should be really, really proud of yourself that you stepped into the money wave and you had a look. Because when so many other people still have so much fear and anxiety around it, you today, just by actually listening to this or watching it on replay, are going to start the simple and the slow process of changing your money mindset. And I promise you that I see you and I know that you can do this, because I've done it. And I feel so grateful for the fact that I've done it. And I feel so empowered that I've done it as well, because I don't have a scarcity mindset anymore about money. So that's when a really, really good friend of mine said to me, she wanted me to read a book. And I know some people out there freak out about, a book. I don't know if I want to read a book. But I tell you what, this book, and some of you might have already read it, and you can comment in the comments later if it actually helped you, because I think it was a game changer for my husband and I. When my friend said it had changed her life, she was in her 50s. So we read this about 8 years ago. She's a single female living by herself, working hard, and she started to realize, hang on a second. And she's got a savings account. She's been looking after herself fairly well. But all of a sudden she started to realize, oh my gosh, am I going to retire in 15 years time? And can I actually do that? And what's it going to look like for me? And so she suggested that we get this book. So this book, to me, was one of the key things that actually helped us get a picture of our finances. Because as I said to you before, looking at your bank account, looking at your savings account, looking at your superannuation, all of that sort of stuff can cause a little bit of anxiety. So you need a pattern, you need something, a guidance to help you. And this guy here, the Barefoot Investor, really, really helped us. He helped us get a really, really clear picture and something that was written in easy language for us to understand exactly where we were. So we did exactly as this book said. It's actually the best part about this book is it's actually a self-guide book. So when you read it, it actually tells you step by step how to do everything that I've been sort of briefly speaking about today. So please, 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 if you haven't already got this book, or if you got it from someone and you haven't really read it, put it to use, do it. Do it, do it, do it. It's a really, really simple way to get started on your money mindset. I promise. Drew and I actually did exactly this. We sat down with some pasta, I had a glass of wine, and we just did 10 minutes every week, just as the book said. And it helped us so much. It helped us to create this amazing spreadsheet that I am happy to give you all a copy of. It's a weekly spreadsheet that we actually do, and we sit down and all of our finances are in there. Everything that we spend, every single cent. And at first that sounds really, really confronting, and you think, oh my gosh, why would you do that to yourself? Why do you want to know that? Because actually knowing that gives us a lot of power around our money. We get to see what comes in and we got to see what goes out. And we get to plan for things, we get to go on holidays, we get to our structured life with our finances is so much better now than it ever was. So if you're watching this on replay, or if you like a copy of the Excel spreadsheet, please just put Excel in the comments and I will make sure that you get a copy of this. It's a live active sheet that you can utilize after you've read The Barefoot Investor and implement that. It's fantastic. So here are some things that I want you to, this is some tips and tricks that are going to help you get past that negative thought pattern that we used to have. Meditation and affirmations. Now, we did that little meditation at the beginning of the day, didn't we? Where you just close your eyes, you calm yourself down. There's also breathing exercises. We want to start recognizing that when you look at money, at first, your unconscious mind will kick in. That's when I want you to close your eyes and take a deep breath. Because by doing this, you are stopping and clearing the thought of that old negative pattern. You're going to take a nice deep breath in, and you're going to say, money flows in and money flows out, and I'm okay with that. And that's all you're going to do. So every time you look at your bank account, or you look at your superannuation, or you look at something, or you feel that you've got to spend something and you're a little bit hesitant about it, I want you to give yourself a quick check. And I want you to close your eyes and I want you to go, it's okay. Money flows in and money flows out. Because you are going to start empowering yourself with the fact that that is how money works. Money is fluid. Money flows in and money flows out. And you are okay with that. So every time you start to feel anything around there, I want you to close your eyes and do that. Another thing that has really, really helped me on this is affirmations. And affirmations, because when you say them and you read them and you think them, they actually help reset your programming in your brain. Your brain is like a sponge and it absorbs things. So by resetting our brain and looking at positive affirmations around money, it actually can help retrain that unconscious mind and that fear of flight that comes to us when we think of money and how we are financially. So let's have a look at some of them. I'm so grateful. This is something I say. I'm so grateful and thankful for the unexpected money that hits my bank account. I love money and money loves me. I allow prosperity to flow into my life. I am worthy of a wealthy life. I'm a money magnet. This is something else that I want you to see too. And these are all just little things that are going to help you start to adjust your money mindset in such a beautiful way. Do you recognize where money comes from? We all get our pay slips, we all get paid money. But do you think of other ways that money flows into you and can flow out? Do you say thank you for getting your tax rebate? And I mean really saying thank you for it. Do you say thank you when someone else buys you a coffee or takes you out to dinner? Do you say thank you because you can pay the electricity bill? Do you say thank you when you purchase an item and you get a discount on it without expecting it? You see, I really want you to start to see that money comes in and money goes out. It flows. It's fluid. Of course you say thank you when someone buys you a coffee or dinner, but I want you to recognize that is actually money coming into you. It's a positive thing. It's a beautiful thing. So yes, you're not holding the actual cash, but someone shouted you a coffee for $6 or $7 or $5 or whatever it is, or someone shouted you a meal for $25 or $30. That's money coming into you. It flows in and it flows out. Money comes in many forms, and we don't think of it like this, like the tax rebate. We just think we deserve it because we're paid for it. But there are countries that don't necessarily give tax back, and those sort of things, I guess, can be taken away from us at any time. So be thankful for seeing the flow of money. I promise you that if you do these little tips and these little tricks, that all of that fear, anxiety, resentment, everything that we've heard, the myths, all that sort of stuff, they will start to shrink. They will start to go away. By looking at your bank account, by looking at your superannuation, by looking at your savings account, you are going to start to feel really empowered about the money that you have, the money that you are going to get, the money that you are going to call in, because you're not going to have this anxiety around it. Remember, this is all a process. It's going to take a little bit of time, and I've got some tools that can help you. So on that note, I'd like to say thank you very much for attending the first Money Wave course. Now you can see why I called the course the Money Wave. Because oceans come in and the waves come into the shore and then it goes back out again. And every time you look at money in your bank account, or you spend some money, or you receive some money, I want you to think of that beautiful vision of money flowing in and money flowing out, and you are perfectly okay with that. Please, please get that book if you haven't already read it, and read it and do it. It is so, so helpful. And the other thing, if you'd like the Excel spreadsheet, like I said, then please give me a message. If you want to know a little bit more information about this, because I've got lots of information to share, then reach out to me. I'm happy to talk to you one-on-one. Otherwise, I'd like to thank you so much for attending my first Money Wave seminar. And I look forward to, I'm just shutting this down, looking forward to seeing you next time on the Money Wave 2. All right, have a beautiful afternoon and thank you so much for watching. I really, really appreciate it. Take care. See ya.